Gentlemen, I need your full attention because right now there is one nut you may be eating every single day that is quietly destroying your testosterone, draining your energy, and killing your erections. This isn't an exaggeration. I have seen men walk into my office with blood work showing low testosterone, struggling with fatigue and intimacy, and the culprit wasn't their age alone. It was the foods they thought were healthy. And this one nut in particular is more dangerous to your masculinity than you could ever imagine. My name is Dr. Juliana Costa. I am a board-certified urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s reclaim their vitality. I've spent decades in both research and clinical practice, working with thousands of men who came to me desperate for answers. And I can tell you with absolute confidence, what you snack on every day can make or break your testosterone. Here's the paradox. The very nuts and seeds that the media praises as heart-healthy or superfoods may actually be sabotaging your hormones. They may lower testosterone, raise estrogen, and worsen circulation. The perfect recipe for weaker erections. But here's the good news. Not all nuts are the enemy. In fact, there are 4 that can transform your energy, protect your hormones, and bring back the vitality you thought was gone forever. And in this video, I'll reveal exactly which 4 nuts silently destroy testosterone and which 4 boost it, so you'll know precisely what to avoid and what to enjoy starting today. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss important advice that could change your health as a man over 50. And I'd love to hear from you. If you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If you don't, type 0 so I know how to serve you better. You heard the hook, now let me take you through the science, the stories, and the simple changes that actually move the needle. This is not fear-mongering, this is real physiology, clear lab results, and patients who made small swaps and regained the life and confidence they'd assumed were gone. We'll go deep enough for you to understand why each food matters, but simple enough so you can act on it today. The 4 culprits, what to avoid and why. 1. Soy nuts, the estrogen bomb. Soy shows up everywhere these days, protein mixes, snack aisles, even in healthy trail mixes. For younger men with robust testosterone, the occasional soy snack probably won't crush their hormones. But for men over 50, with baseline testosterone already sliding down, soy's isoflavones behave like weak estrogens in the body. They bind to estrogen receptors and nudge the balance away from what you need, free, usable testosterone. Clinically, we see patterns. Men who swap salty chips for soy snacks, assuming they're making a heart-healthy choice, suddenly present with lowered libido, less morning wood, fatigue, and lab tests that confirm a drop in testosterone. I've treated men whose testosterone rose meaningfully within weeks of removing concentrated soy sources from the diet. The mechanism is straightforward. Isoflavones amplify estrogenic signaling and, at the margins, suppress gonadal testosterone production and sperm parameters in sensitive men. Practical rule: stop regular consumption of soy nuts, soy protein isolates, and heavily soy-based snacks. If you choose soy, make it occasional, fermented, like natto or miso in small amounts, and not in concentrated, daily snack form. 2. Flax seeds, the hidden testosterone trap. Flax is celebrated for fiber and omega-3 ALA, but what the headlines often skip is lignans, plant compounds with estrogenic activity. Flax contains some of the highest concentrations of lignans of any common food. Add to that the fact that flax increases SHBG, sex hormone-binding globulin, in some men, the protein that binds testosterone and makes it unavailable, and you have a double problem: less total testosterone and less free testosterone. A man who sprinkled ground flax into his smoothie every morning for years came into my clinic exhausted, despite careful exercise and diet. Remove the flax, retest in 6 weeks, and his free testosterone and reported vigor had both risen. For older men, flax's minimal conversion of ALA to the beneficial EPA-DHA seen in women often isn't worth the trade-off with lignan load. Practical rule: if you're over 50, ditch daily spoonfuls of flax. Use other fiber sources and get long-chain omega-3s from fish, algae, or a targeted supplement rather than relying on flax as your primary omega source. 3. Processed flavored nuts, the testosterone disaster. When nuts get dressed up as candy, honey roasted, cinnamon glazed, sweet and salty, they stop being a healthy snack and start acting like a metabolic toxin. Several problems converge here. Added sugars spike insulin, and chronically high insulin leads to fat gain, particularly visceral belly fat, which raises aromatase activity and converts testosterone into estrogen. High heat roasting can create harmful oxidation products and advanced glycation end products that promote inflammation. Flavoring agents like licorice contain compounds that directly interfere with enzymes in the steroidogenesis pathway. Even small amounts of some licorice compounds have been shown to drop testosterone rapidly. Cheap oils used to roast can be omega-6 heavy, shifting your omega-6 omega-3 ratio and fueling inflammation. Men who habitually snack on honey-roasted or candied nut mixes often have a cluster of issues: midline fat, fatigue, poor sleep, and lower testosterone. Swapping flavored nuts for raw or dry roasted, unsalted alternatives and watching portion sizes often reverses this trend. Practical rule: treat flavored nuts as candy. If you love nuts, buy raw or dry roasted unsalted and avoid the coated varieties. 4. Peanuts, the inflammatory trap. Peanuts are everywhere, and peanut butter is an American classic. But peanuts are legumes and typically carry high omega-6 content, pushing the fat ratio toward inflammation. And they're also susceptible to aflatoxin contamination if not handled properly. Low-level chronic exposure to mycotoxins stresses the liver, and the liver plays a central role in hormone metabolism. A liver under strain cannot clear excess estrogens effectively, nor properly manage SHBG and steroid-binding proteins. Many men with borderline testosterone and elevated liver enzymes have improved both when they reduced peanut consumption and prioritized liver-supporting changes. Switching to tree nut butters like almond or macadamia in moderation and choosing organic or well-sourced peanut products lowers risk. Practical rule: make peanuts an occasional treat, not a daily habit. Prefer tree nuts or other spreads, and buy high-quality tested products when you do consume peanuts. The 4 allies: what to add and why. Now the good part: the foods that actively support testosterone, circulation, and vitality. These are practical, easy-to-find choices you can use to rebuild energy and sexual health without drugs. 5. Brazil nuts, the selenium and boron powerhouse. If there were a single snack I could recommend to most men over 50, it would be Brazil nuts, but with a strong warning about quantity. Brazil nuts are one of the richest natural sources of selenium. Selenium protects your testicular Leydig cells from oxidative damage and supports optimal testosterone synthesis. Brazil nuts also provide boron, which reduces SHBG and increases free testosterone in meaningful ways. A single Brazil nut often supplies more than the daily selenium requirement, so the recommendation is simple: 1 to 2 Brazil nuts daily. That small habit gives you protective antioxidants, supports thyroid and reproductive health, and can be a discreet, low-cost intervention with measurable lab improvements in many men. Practical rule: 1-2 Brazil nuts per day, stored in the freezer to protect their oils, and no more. Excess selenium can be toxic. 6. Macadamia nuts, anti-inflammatory, testosterone-friendly fats. Macadamias are rich in monounsaturated fats, low in omega-6, and supply thiamine, B1, a nutrient important for energy metabolism. Diets higher in monounsaturated fats support hormone production, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation, all favorable for testosterone. For men struggling with afternoon crashes, mood dips, or insulin resistance, swapping processed carbs or saturated fat snacks for a handful of raw macadamia nuts can stabilize energy and create a hormonal environment more conducive to testosterone production. Practical rule: a small handful, about 10 to 12 nuts, of raw or dry roasted macadamias a day, not salted, not glazed, is enough to get benefits without excess calories. 7. Tiger nuts, the ancient tuber that acts like a nut. Tiger nuts, are tubers, not true nuts, and they come packed with resistant starch, arginine, zinc, and vitamin E. Arginine converts to nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and improves circulation. For erectile function, nitric oxide is indispensable. Tiger nuts also feed beneficial gut bacteria via resistant starch, and gut health matters hugely for systemic inflammation and hormone regulation. Men who added tiger nuts to a daily routine often reported better digestion, improved energy, and enhanced sexual performance. Benefits that line up with modest increases in bioavailable testosterone. Practical rule: try a small serving, 1 to 4 cups of tiger nuts a day, raw or lightly roasted. They're a great evening snack or addition to a salad. 8. Pistachios. The bedroom booster pistachios combine arginine with beneficial antioxidants and a favorable lipid profile. They have been shown in clinical settings to improve erectile function scores when consumed regularly, and they contribute to better cholesterol profiles by lowering LDL and raising HDL, both helpful for vascular health and, by extension, sexual function. Pistachios are also satisfying and portable. Cracking shells slows down eating and reduces overeating, which is a psychological plus. For men focused on intimacy and circulation, pistachios are an easy, effective daily tool. Practical rule: 1-2 ounces, about a small handful, of pistachios a day, raw or dry roasted without excessive salt, is an approachable habit with real benefits. How to build a testosterone-friendly nut plan. Practical, daily. Morning, 1 to 2, Brazil nuts with breakfast, selenium plus boron. Midday snack, small handful of macadamia or pistachios instead of a processed bar. Evening, a 1/4 cup of tiger nuts or a few pistachios if you need a bedtime snack. Avoid daily flax spoonfuls, frequent soy snacks, peanut-heavy spreads as staple foods, and flavored processed nut mixes. Portion control matters. Nuts are dense in calories and easy to overconsume. The aim is targeted nutrition, not endless grazing. Lifestyle context. What else matters for testosterone? Nuts matter, but they're one piece of the puzzle. Testosterone thrives when you support it across multiple domains. Sleep. Most testosterone is produced during sleep. Prioritize 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep. Strength training. Resistance exercise boosts testosterone acutely and preserves muscle mass. Body composition. Visceral fat increases aromatase. Reduce it with diet, exercise, and sleep. Alcohol and liver health. Heavy drinking stresses the liver and hormone metabolism. Moderate intake. Micronutrients, zinc, vitamin D, magnesium, and boron are critical. Consider testing and targeted supplementation if deficient. Stress management. Chronic cortisol elevation suppresses testosterone. Build relaxation into your routine. If you combine smart nut choices with these lifestyle pillars, your chances of restoring energy, libido, and erections increase dramatically. Common patient stories. The change is real. You've heard one story in the intro. Here are 2 compact cases I've seen many times. Case A, 58-year-old man, switched from chips to daily flavored nut mixes and peanut butter. Labs, total testosterone, low normal, high SHBG, borderline fatty liver tests. Intervention, removed flavored nuts and daily peanut butter, added 1-2 Brazil nuts, replaced snacking with macadamias, and improved dietary quality. Outcome, 3 months later, testosterone rose significantly, liver enzymes normalized, and he reported increased energy and morning erections. Case B, 62-year-old man, conscientious about health, added 2 TBSP of flax each morning for years. Complaints: low libido and fatigue. Intervention: stopped daily flax, replaced with fatty fish 2-3x week, and a small daily macadamia serving. Outcome: 6 weeks later, free testosterone rose, SHBG decreased, and he reported restored drive and mental clarity. These aren't miracles, they're physiology. Small changes that reduce estrogenic load, lower inflammation, and supply critical nutrients produce measurable hormone shifts. Warnings and practical cautions: supplements versus food. While supplements have their place, food first is safer. Brazil nuts provide selenium, but too many can cause toxicity. Respect dosages. Allergies. If you're allergic to tree nuts, these recommendations must be adapted. Work with your doctor. Medical causes. Sometimes low testosterone is due to medical issues, pituitary problems, medications, chronic illness. If you have persistent symptoms, get labs and a medical evaluation. Quality matters. Buy fresh nuts, avoid rancid oils, buy organic when possible for peanuts, and store oily nuts in the fridge or freezer.